Hi guys, it's Mrs. Tucker. I'm going to teach you today about distributive property. This is a really easy little property that you're going to use all the time in algebra. So let's get started. All right, I'm going to use orders of operation to solve this little problem. I'm going to do the math that's inside the parentheses. I'm going to add 4 and 5 and get 9. And then I'm going to multiply 3 times 9 and the answer is 27. Let me show you what distributive property says to do. Distributive property says take 3 times everything that's inside the parentheses and add those answers together. So I'm going to take 3 times 4 and I'm going to add that to whatever I get when I take 3 times 5. So 3 times 4 plus 3 times 5, well 3 times 4 is 12 and 3 times 5 is 15. And when you add 12 and 15 you get 27. All right? So let's do it again. If I do orders of operation, right here, I get 18. If I do my orders of operation, 10 plus 8 is 18. And then I would multiply that by 3. And 18 multiplied by 3, I get 24. That's 3, 4, 5. I would get 54 for an answer. So let's see what happens when I use distributive property. Let's see if we get 54 again. I'm going to take 3 times 10. I'm going to add that to whatever I get when I take 3 times 8. And it looks like this. Well, 3 times 10 is 30, and 3 times 8 is 24. And when I add those together, I get 54. All right? Here's what it looks like if you use your orders of operation. You get the same thing. So you guys are now thinking, well, why do we even bother with this if we get the same thing? Okay. Oh, let me do this a little bit backwards. This is going to be on one of your worksheets. If I take 20 times 21, well, 21 is the same as 20 plus 1. I sort of busted that up. Now I can use distributive property to solve this and make it a lot easier. I know 20 times 20 is 400, and I know that 20 times 1 is 20, and it makes putting those together a lot easier. I get 420. Some people actually multiply that way, believe it or not, and come up with the answer really fast. Okay, here's my algebra tile. My tile has a side length of 1 here and 1 here. That means it has an area of 1 square unit. If that's a positive 1, then red is a negative 1. This guy right here has a side length of 1 going this way, but we don't know the length going this way. So he has a width of 1 and a length of x. So his area is 1 times x, or x. We'll call that positive x. So if green is positive x, then red is negative x. All right, let me show you what I'm going to do with this. I've got x plus 1 right here. X plus 1. I've got another x plus 1. Guess what? I've got two groups of x plus 1. All right, I'm going to combine my like terms together and put both of the greens together and both of the yellows together, and I see that I have 2 x's plus 2 right here. All right, let me go back. Whoops. Let me move this little thing out of the way, and I'm going to go back. I want to show you how distributive property works on this. This is the reason we use distributive property, because sometimes something in the parenthesis is a variable and I don't know what it is. So if I take that and multiply 2 times x, I get the 2x. I'm going to bring down that plus sign, and I'm going to take 2 times 1 and get the 2. And that's my answer here. That's simplified form. Let me move that back. Okay, let's do one more before time runs out. Here I've got x plus 2, and I have another group of x plus 2, and I have another group of x plus 2. I have got 3 groups of x plus 2. It looks like this, 3 groups of x plus 2. I'm going to put like stuff together. It looks like I've got 3 x's plus 6. If you use distributive property, you take that times that and you get 3x. Bring down the plus sign, and then you take 3 times 2 and you get 6. And that's the final answer. That's simplified form. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, this is the second part of your video on distributive property. Let's keep going. It says you just use distributive property to simplify. All right, let me grab a pen here. I'm going to use distributive property. 8 is being multiplied by everything inside of the parentheses, so I'm going to take 8 times x, and I get 8x. Bring down the addition sign. I'm going to take 8 times 5. 8 times 5 is 40. That is simplified form, 8x plus 40. All right, one last thing I need to talk about, and this will probably be on the second worksheet you guys get on distributive property. This guy right here is a little difficult to deal with. We can handle it, not a problem. Okay, I've got 10 minus everything that's inside these parentheses. Okay, before I do that, let's talk about numbers. Anytime I write a number like 2, invisible number 1 is always out there being multiplied by that number. So 2 is the same as invisible number 1 multiplied by 2. If I have the number 5, isn't that the same as invisible number 1 being multiplied by 5? Why, yes it is. Well, same thing works with negative numbers. If I have negative 2, that's the same as negative 1 being multiplied by 2. If I have negative 5, it's the same as negative 1 being multiplied by 5. So the point I'm trying to make here is invisible number 1 can show up in a lot of different places. Well, guess what's lurking right here? That's right, invisible number 1. Let's put in a 1 right there. Now, I've got 10 minus 1 being multiplied by everything inside the parentheses. Well, I know you guys know how to subtract a number. Subtracting a number is the same as adding the opposite, so let's add a line and change the sign. I'm going to rewrite this so I can see this a little bit better. 10 plus negative 1 being multiplied by the quantity x plus 5. All right, well, I can use distributive property here, and I can use distributive property here. Let's rewrite this. I've got 10 plus, what's negative 1 times x? Negative x, bring down the plus sign. What's negative 1 times 5? Negative 5. Okay, I'm going to get rid of all of this stuff over here. All right, doesn't matter what order we add in, we still get the same answer. That's called commutative property of addition. I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to move the negative 5 right there, and I'm going to put the negative x over here. 10 plus negative 5, 10 plus negative 5 is 5, plus negative x, I have simplified. In algebra, you'll see this written as 5 minus x, because 5 plus negative x and 5 minus x mean the same thing. If I wrote it this way and I added a line and changed the sign, I would get back to that. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of problems on this worksheet that you guys have today. We'll do combining like terms a little bit later. All right, let me find our worksheet. Is it that one there? Nope, we've already done that one. It's this one right here. Okay, use distributive property to remove the parentheses from the following expressions. All right, let's take a look at number 1 here. I've got 2 times, in parentheses, I've got 3 apples and 4 bananas. In the parentheses, I'm going to show you what this means. And instead of writing out apples each time, I'm going to pick a variable to represent apples. I'm going to pick the letter A. And instead of writing bananas each time, I'm going to use the letter B. So inside parentheses, I have an apple plus an apple plus an apple. That's what this means. 3 times apples means 3 plus 3 apples being added together. Right here, I've got 4 bananas. That's